Back in studio, we are talking about a crew that made their maiden debut out of the country from a rallying point of view. Very, very focused indeed, and making inroads where many will be asking themselves, how did they start and how did they end up where they are? They keep getting stronger by the day, venturing into areas that not many have ventured. It was their debut out of the country where they featured in the, Gorilla rally in Rwanda for the first time out of the country. How was their experience? They are here to let us know. We are talking about Caroline Gatimu and Tinashe Gatimu with us in studio, who made their debut out of the country in the Gorilla rally in Rwanda. This was part of the ARC Africa Rally Championships, and of course Kenyans out there made it their own, running up with very good performance. Let's take the opportunity to introduce and welcome them in studio, and also welcome them back in the country after a very long, Rwanda rally. I'll start with, to my immediate left, we are talking about Caroline Gatimu with us in studio. Caro, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Apidi.
Karibu sana Kenya.
Asante.
I know you've been here for quite some time, but karibu sana.
Asante.
From an extreme of a very, dusty, hot area back to a very extreme cold weather in Nairobi.
Yes.
Karibu sana. To my immediate right, we have Tinashe Gatimu with us. Tina, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the country as well.
Thank you very much.
Karibuni sana.
Thanks.
And let's start with you as the driver, your debut out of the country. How was it?
It was quite the experience. Before we went, it was difficult imagining roads apart from the ones in Kenya. At some point, I started thinking Kenyan rally roads are smooth, until I went to Rwanda. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. But it was amazing. The culture, the people, the whole community there was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
Let's talk, Carol, from a reception point of view. Were you well received by the, the Rwandese rally fans? They must have come out in, large numbers. And of course, being that it was your debut, there is this thing that we will not be talking much about. But for them, it must have been history. The mother-daughter, pairing. It must have been headlines for them.
Yes. I must say they welcomed us very well. But let me start a PB from where this has all generated for us getting to Rwanda. For me, it was a silent prayer for us after doing the WRC, that Tina would get the opportunity to travel, to drive outside the country just to feel what it is like on the other side of outside Kenya. Silent prayers it was, as I've said, and the prayers were answered very fast. I must thank God for that, because 3 weeks to the event, we got an invite to Rwanda. Why don't you come and rally here? And we tried about with the idea, but when we got together as a team, sat together and said, you know what, I think we can do this. And then it was. When 1 week to the event, we traveled down to Rwanda. The people are amazing. The reception was awesome. We got to meet the other rally drivers who were very, very welcoming. And even the COC, Eric and Christian, they welcomed us very well. I must say we got a very good reception. And as Tina said, I must echo from the airport. From when we got there to when we came, the people are amazing, amazing, very friendly. Very friendly
indeed. Yeah. And as we talk about that, Carol says the people are friendly. Let's talk about the roads, the rallying route. Was the route as friendly, Tina? Yes.
There are sections where the route was very friendly. There are sections where there were some very interesting ruts. Otherwise called fault lines.
For the sake of my the viewers back at home,
yes.
When you say rat, what do you mean?
Sipanya. Rats, they were basically like ditches on the road. That's how I can describe that. Okay. Because they would run like from, let's say from here all the way like a few hundred meters or like 50 meters. And some of them were right in the middle of the road, so you had to find your line. Some of them were on the side. Then some of them were crisscrossing across the road, so you have to find how you're going to cross over. But all in all, it was good. The smooth sections were smooth and fast. I had to completely adjust my braking distances because, first of all, the soil was loose. So you brake, the little stones under the wheels, make sure you keep moving. You're braking, but you're still moving forward. So it was a nice experience adapting to that. And yeah, the whole thing was nice. Yeah.
You've mentioned the terrain, the soil. How would you compare it to the fresh in Kenya?
It's incomparable. You can't compare, because the fresh here it's like a lake of sand. But there it's smooth. There was a bit of dust, but I don't think it was as okay. Maybe because I was in the car, maybe I wasn't feeling it as much. But there was some dust, but it was okay. Yeah.
Interesting, because when we look at the expectations, Carol, when going out there, the expectation is so high for you. You are venturing into an unknown. You've never, featured out of the country. Like you rightly put it, silent prayers answered. Now, getting out there, did you try to do some, research about the area, the routes that you're going in? And of course, Kenyan drivers, Karan Patel, or Sashania have been there, and they've been performing so well. Did you find out from them what to expect?
Oh yes. When you go out there as a Kenyan team, the togetherness and the support is awesome. It's spread across outside the borders. So as navigators, even as drivers, we got together and sat and they were telling us the roads are beautiful, they're very fast. What I think they forgot to tell us was there are rats also, which people say is, as Tina said, they were calling them earthquakes. But they shared a lot. And as you can see in that event, that's the first tarmac rally Tina and I did. And they told us just not to worry, but just be as careful as you can. And they were very good to share the information. Yeah.
Okay, as we talk about sharing the info and looking at, the famous, here in Kenya, the Gen Zs, Tinashe call it, scramble. Scramble. How is it like for you, and how do you pull off such scrambles?
It's a balance between using the handbrake and using power, because in order to be able to make that turn, as you can see, it's a very tight turn. So just finding that balance. Drifting on tarmac is quite different to drifting on gravel, because the tarmac is more grippy. So your wheels want to stick on the road. You want them to slide.
So you pull it off.
Yeah.
And as we talk about the same, looking at some beautiful, shots from there, you ventured, and of course, one is the culture shock. When you arrive at the airport, you don't find what we normally find in Kenya with, our motorbikes, the borders, the discipline. Talk about the discipline of the roads there.
They're very disciplined on the roads. All pedestrians, people in cars, people on borders, they call them motos there. For every border can only have, like each border can only have one passenger. The passenger has to have a helmet, the rider has to have a helmet. So it was quite something seeing that contrast in Kenya, and I hope it's something we can implement here. As well as the speed limits. Driving at 60 kph is not easy. But we had to find a way to manage it. And I mean, because of the speed limits, the accidents have gone down a bit. What was particularly interesting was seeing some people, I won't mention who, driving on the wrong side of the road. So, because all the many years of driving has been on the left side. Now adjusting to the right side was interesting for them. I was just laughing at them. But I must say it was a bit easy for me. Maybe I'm still young, I don't know. But overall it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Well, Carol, no names were mentioned, when it comes to navigating and trying to adjust to the right and left hand, kind of driving and stuff. How was it like for you, just getting down your pace notes, trying to adjust to the left, right hand kind of, transition? How was it for you?
Let's first start from when she says them, them is me. So adjust in that part. Shots fired. So adjusting to that when she's driving, I tell her, no, you've gone too much on the right. She comes back. But I guess it's that whole thing of getting internalizing that you're actually driving on the right. But when you get down to the section, as you know, it's writing notes is on open road. There's no right, left, so you just have the road. That was easy. That wasn't even anywhere close to what you do on the public roads. So writing the notes was good, was awesome. There's some places where we had to get out, walk. How are we going to take this? How are we going to do that? But the first day of recce went down very well.
As the recce, takes shape, Tina, you must have, or let me engage Carol on this, you must have had an objective. Silent prayers answered. What were your objectives going into, into this rally? Was it to get to the finish point? Was it to go out there and just try to learn what happens outside the norm that we are used to? What was your objective as you're leaving the country?
The first objective, which has always been when you're getting to a competition, was to finish. Then the second one was to learn what is this on the other side. Getting to understand what is it outside Kenya. In fact, we were making a joke and said, we've gotten out of our comfort zone of Kenya rallying, such that when you go to that side, you have to be on point on your road book. You cannot even miss a kilometer. When you're in Kenya, you're like, we're going to Naivasha. And Naivasha, you can even go and you're blindfolded. But when you're there, you have to keep on the notes. You cannot afford to, on the road book that is, to look up, because the distances, even if you're given, the only time you look up is if the distance is like a 2-kilometer stretch. That's when you look up and say, okay, then you notice the speeds of 60, 80. So when you get out of your comfort zone and get to the other side of this, when you realize, oops, there's another side to rallying. And it was a very amazing experience.
Amazing experience it is indeed, for you as a crew. Tina, we were not able to get to the finish point. Which means we went out there, we studied, we saw, but picked some learnings. How was it like for you not being able to finish, and why were you not able to get to the finish point?
It was an interesting 2 days. The first day, on Saturday, we were doing well. Even with our times, we were doing really well. At some point, we were third, now in the national championship category. But unfortunately, one of the fault lines, otherwise known as rats, threw us out, so we ended up in a ditch, and so that was it for us for the day. And so as a result of that, we damaged the fuel tank, but we were lucky enough and fortunate enough to meet Team 600B, whose driver is Simba, and they were so generous enough to give us their fuel tank to use for Sunday. And I'm very grateful for that. And as Mom said, the support that we got from the people in Rwanda was amazing. And so we managed to motor again on Sunday. But when we came to the spectator area, there was a jump. So Subaru being Subaru, I took the jump and nosedived, so we damaged the radiator. And then the car overheated, so that's why we couldn't finish. But overall, I took a lot of lessons. First of all, which is something I keep hearing, but now we will start following, is not to take jumps. Because when you're in the air, you're going slower when you're in the air than when you're in the ground. So I'll implement that next time. But all in all, there were a lot of lessons that we picked, and we hope to embrace as we move forward.
A lot of lessons are picked, if I can pick it up from there, Carol, and one of the lessons she says is, when told, avoid jumps, avoid jumps. How was it like for you, or how is it for you anytime you start a rally and you don't finish? Do you feel like this is the end of the road, or you always say, what matters is how we respond after this?
Of course, there's that disappointment. There's that initial sadness. I would say, let me not call it disappointment, but there's that initial sadness where you feel, oh no, we've not been able to finish. But then again, you go back and reflect, you know what, we are here. Then you start looking now at your times. In fact, now I've understood why the big boys, Kina Oje and Kina Tanak, when they don't finish a rally, then they start looking at stage times. So when we didn't finish, I went back to looking at stage times and I see how she was driving. she was setting amazing times. In terms of, I was just looking and thinking, oh my goodness, this is so cool, this is so cool. And that is something I look at the very end of the rally, whether it's 2 days or 3 days, I look at the timings at the very end. Because that, of course, per section, you're going to write your times, but so that it doesn't get into my head personally, that to make her push or do anything, I keep quiet just so that she maintains her pace, because she knows that how to handle the at what pace she can handle. She knows when to push and when to slow down. So when I looked at the stage times, I was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. So I was like, at the end of the day, even if I was sad about finishing, I was happy about the times we set out there. Yeah. Wow,
always something positive to look out for, as in every situation, you look at the glass as half full, not half empty. Tina, and this is more personal, assume Carol isn't here. What's the maximum speed you've taken or you've gone when you are flat out, you know, in a flat out area?
I honestly don't know.
That's a good one.
Unless, no, I don't know. I don't look at the speedometer when I'm driving, so I know it's over 100, but I don't know how much over 100.
Wow.
Yeah.
But it's flat out.
Yeah, it's flat out.
Wow. Interesting. I'll engage Tina shortly to just talk about the sponsors or sponsorships. But before that, Carol, if rallying at home is normally very expensive, how is it like rallying outside the country? Because the vehicle, the crew, yourselves, it must be very expensive.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's equally as expensive as rallying here, because you need to get the crew out there. First of all, you need to get the crew and the car out into the, cross the borders, do whatever kilometers they're going to do, prepare them. There's accommodation sorted out, sort of the accommodation, their food, of course, then come to us, the same thing, we need to transport ourselves, because if the cargo goes, we also need to go. So it's putting all those logistics together is quite, it can take quite a toll, but with our sponsors coming on board, it really helps, because it really takes care of a lot of stuff. And that due to the fact that also Rwanda came in and sponsored us in the terms of, they sorted out the competitors' accommodation, in terms of fuel, gave 100 liters of fuel. Entry fee was free. You see, they gave us a package that was that really took off a bit on our budget. And we're really grateful to them once they extended that invitation to us together with the package that they gave us. We are truly thankful. And yeah, that I would say that they came in quite handy.
I mean, very expensive indeed, and you are still young beneficiary, you know, of some of the sponsors, you know, good hand locally. Some of the sponsors you'd want to maybe think about and just say kudos, and let's hope that we continue with the same.
Yes, there are quite a number. First of all, as Mom said, when the car goes, we also have to go.
By default.
And, yeah. And we're thankful to have been taken there, flown there by Kenya Airways. And aside from them, there's Marvel Africa Technologies and Primata, the below-the-line marketing agency. They've helped us a lot when it comes to the marketing side. And there's Shift Auto Services and Shift Auto Ambulance for taking the car there and also fixing the car, getting it ready, servicing the car. PN Tuned, Promoter Sports, the same. Without them, we wouldn't be here. And we're very grateful for their support.
And not to mention her mentor, Eric Bengi, and a lawyer wangu. Yes.
Wow. Always encouraging.
Not to forget.
Yeah, that's good. Caro, it's good to have, you know, partner sponsors on board to, you know, it keeps you going and you can always plan for the next. How is it like for you going out there and seeing that ladies are coming up? Rwanda, you know, came up, Queen, you know, Campinia was one of the, you know, favorites, local favorites, and a lady coming out. How does that make you feel?
It's amazing. It's a very great feeling to also realize there are ladies out there taking up on this sport. And when we saw Queen, and she welcomed us so well, you guys come. In fact, I remember her saying in one of the sections that, you guys cannot beat me on my home turf. So like, don't worry, let's just wait. Let's just see how, you know, how it takes us. But it's amazing to see the support she also gets from on her end in terms of Rwanda. And we mentioned with Tina, we said, I wish Susan was here from Uganda. Oh, it would have been an amazing event. So we encourage, if they can, and if we all can, if we go out of the country and get as many ladies to participate as much as possible, it would be awesome to see all out get there and get into this race. And the most interesting part is that we don't look at each other as competitors, you know. Okay, of course, at the back of our mind, we're thinking we're competitors.
That, yeah, we are
but the fact that we embrace each other very well, and she'll even give us a few tips about Rwanda and all that. We saw her here in Kenya, although she wasn't rallying, but she just came in as a spectator. But you shared, there's a lot that we shared, which which we put down into what we were doing towards that in the rally. Yeah.
Interesting indeed. Tina, in athletics, there is always a build-up when one wants to build up, you know, or their speed, their endurance. We see the athletics calendar starting off with the cross-country, then eventually into the main tracks and stuff. Autocross. Would you take autocross as a way of, you know, just polishing and getting you ready to the rally calendar? Or how do you take autocross? Because from an autocross point, you're also another speedster that, you know, many always go out to just say, we are here to just see how Tina maneuvers her way around the village.
Yes, autocross plays a big part in getting ready for rally, because rallies are won in corners, not in streets. So autocross, being a short circuit race, has more, shall I say, a higher density of corners compared to rally. Because like the moment you've gone flat out, there's a corner. The moment you've gone flat out, there's another corner. So you need to know how to take each corner and also prepare for the next corner that's coming. And that played a huge role even in the rally. And knowing like how fast to come in, when I should be on the power inside the corner, what gear I should be in, and things like that. Yeah.
We'll try and you know, just pick it up from there. But how has the autocross season been for you?
The autocross season has been good. We did the last, unfortunately we didn't do the last autocross in Athi River, but I was fortunate enough to share a car with Dan Mwangi. And it was good. It was good because there was also a night stage, which was amazing. Racing with the hyenas. So, yeah.
We take it up from that point, and of course, my cameraman is wondering one question, Carol. You say when you go, when the car goes, you also have to go. And I can see my cameraman is really wondering, how does the car go? Is the car flown? Is the car flown as well? How does the car go, get to, you know, to the venue, for this case, Rwanda?
The car goes as cargo, but not on KQ.
By road?
By road. By road on a flatbed. We put it on a flatbed, which is the shift auto ambulance that she talked about, where we also place all our spare parts in a box and everything. Put it on the flatbed, and off it goes with the crew to maneuver the road.
How many days?
2 days.
2 days?
Yes.
And they're in Rwanda?
And they're in Rwanda.
So you're in contact all the time, and once they confirm that we are here, all set, now come?
Yes, you have to be in contact all the time, because their safety, of course, also comes first. So we have to be in contact with them all the time. Like, we release them on Monday, like at 5 a.m., go all the way to the border. You guys okay? Have you rested? Because sometimes we're thinking we could push it. Let's just push it to the next point and tell them, no, just hold on, relax, sleep. Because, you know, it can be a bit tedious, right? And fatigue. So rest, then they say they sleep, okay, they sleep, wake up, have their breakfast, take off again. So you have to be in constant touch with them, not only just to know whether the car is okay, but more especially for their own safety and that they are okay. And then when they got into Rwanda, I thought in my head, oh my God, they're going to drive on the right. Will they be okay?
So who gives them tips, or they do a recce themselves to just some research?
No, they learn. There's some of these things, okay, you can't keep telling them everything, so they learn as they go. So, you know, when you're teaching somebody something, you tell them this much, let them learn for themselves the next much, you know, the next bit. So that's how we play as a team.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when you get there and you find other Kenyan drivers, you feel at home, you're like, guys, let's do this.
There's a feeling that comes when you see people outside your comfort zone. outside your country, you're like, I've seen you. So somebody told us that when we got to the reception, I know that voice, and you turn, you see a familiar face, you're like, yeah.
So you also,
there's a great excitement when you see your fellow Kenyans out there. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
Amazing indeed. Tina, how do you balance this? Because you're also a student at Strathmore University, and a lot must be going through your mind. There is books, there is studying, but of course there is also your passion, which is your talent, which is rallying.
You just find a way. That's all I can say. But it usually doesn't clash, because rallying is during the weekend, school during the week. This, I think, is one of the only times, one of the big times it's clashed, because now I wasn't in school for a week, so I'm still catching up with what they've done, but I know I'll get there. But it's a good problem to have, because not a lot of people can say that they are fortunate enough to be in such a position. So I take it, I'm thankful to have that problem.
And of course, with an institution like Strathmore, where all you need to do is alert them in time, in writing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, interesting indeed. Caro, what next?
Burundi.
Oh, Burundi. When?
What are the dates again? I know I had them.
The month, just the month.
August.
August.
Yes.
Which is just days away.
Yeah. How
prepared is the car?
We're actually just come from the garage right now just to see what happened when the car overheated, whether we caused any damage, just a slight damage onto the heads and everything. So we've let them stripping it off. Then next week we put it back together. And once we can do it in a week, once that's done, then now we first practice in autocross here, the beginning of August. Then we see how it goes.
Wow.
Yeah.
When practicing, do you have Burundi in mind, the terrains, or you just go out and say it's just like normal practice? In athletics, they will say, let's go to Ngong Hills to acclimatize, trying to look at conditions more similar. Do you do that, or you just decide, let's go practice, we'll, cross the bridge when we reach it?
I mean, you just go practice, because you just go. But you just try to adapt to, try to teach yourself to adapt to different situations, how to deal with high pressure situations, and then when you get now to a different place, carry over the lessons from that there.
As we carry the lessons, Carol, now the pressure of the debut tag is gone, that this is your debut outside the country, that's now gone. What are you looking for to Burundi now that you've crossed one of the hurdles, which is making a debut? The excitement, the panic is all out there. Now you're like, okay, it's just like any other rally. What are your expectations going into Burundi?
As I said earlier, we got out of our comfort zone from Kenya, went to Rwanda. We saw what we saw in Rwanda, those rats that are as big as earthquake lines. But so we're waiting to see what's next in Burundi. The only thing we can do is just wait and see, maybe look at a few clips from a few past rallies, study a bit from there, and then we see how it will take us.
As we look into that, Tina, parting shot as we start winding up?
Stay safe. Come and watch us on August 31st in the autocross. Keep an eye out on the social media at 254 Motorsports. They'll announce the date, the venue there.
Wishing you all the best, and keeping an eye, and hope that you continue with the good balancing act between studies and, of course, rallying as well. For that, lady out there, a girl out there looking at you now says, when I grow up, I would like to be like Tina. What would your message be to her?
It's very possible, as I have shown and many other ladies have shown. Just come out, whatever you're interested in, come and see where you can fit in. Doesn't have to be driving, it can be navigating, it can be marshalling, it can be being an official. Also look for us on our social media, Tinashe Gatimu.racing, mom and daughter, that's MOMNDOTA.racing, and 770_motorsports.
Wow, interesting indeed. Carol, I'm still passionate, and I know one time I will make it, of being a co-driver. I would want to be seated in that chair, right or left, shouting, sharp bend to the right, slow right, etc. I believe I will make it. What are your parting shots?
as Tina said, yeah, stay safe. And to all the corporates out there who would like to come on board and see your stickers on the rally car in terms of advertising and everything, come out and support us. And I'd tell you that we'll give you back worth your money or whatever you put on the car. And also the other drivers, if you're able, the ones who are able to come, let's go out there, let's venture out. And let's meet in the next spot. And Burundi is in September. Sorry.
Burundi, oh, September. Okay, yeah. Thanks for that correction. And now that you've pushed it by, 1 more month, I'll also push this by another minute. If you were to do something differently in Rwanda, what would that be?
Not take the jump.
So you're blaming it on the jump?
Yes, mostly. But also it's a learning point.
Do you always know there is a jump, or in the pace notes there'll be somewhere where she wants, there's a jump coming up? Do you always know? Is it in the pace notes?
It is in the pace notes. We had actually done that route earlier in the morning. So I thought, when we did it the first time, I thought the jump wasn't as severe. So when we went the second time, now I went a bit faster, which was a mistake on my part, which I've learned from. But yeah.
And while the car is, in that moment, motion, flying, you don't feel anything, but you feel when it bumps down.
Yeah, you don't feel anything. You're really strapped onto that car, eh?
Correct.
You're really strapped, like, tight. Mm-hmm. So when it flies, and even your suspension is also good. So you just feel, oh, you're back on the road, and you keep going where you're going.
Wow.
Depending on the jump.
Even the adrenaline high, do you even feel the matumbo going through?
You don't?
No.
Wow.
Well, personally, for me, maybe for the driver. But because the navigator is down on her notes like this, so the driver is the one who's seeing when you're going up and down. So she may feel that impact, but for the navigator, you don't feel anything.
Caro, as a sign of my interest into being a co-driver, I'd even checked and asked myself, why is it that they always only have one glove, the other hand not with gloves? Kumbe, it's for pace notes. For
the navigator?
Yes, the navigator.
Okay, I've never had one glove. I'm always without gloves. Oh, but I guess maybe it's because they're also sweating, maybe, and then turning the pages. I guess that would be my only guess. I don't know. I've never worn a glove.
And your focus must really be, because it's up and down, up and down, up and down. So you have your neck, practices all the time, and your eyes must be scanning through everything.
Yes. As a navigator, your head has to be down. I realized as I've gone on as a navigator, looking up throws me off a bit. So I keep my head down, and I'm learning now to feel as the car is maneuvering. If it's a left, 3 left, I know, okay, the left has gone, next note, next note. So your head is always down, because if you look up and lose one focus and lose one note, you're done.
Wow.
And if the navigator can look up, that means you're not going fast enough.
That's a good one. So you must really keep the navigator on toes to always be here.
Yes.
Always
on the notes.
Are there times when you ask, what next, what next? You're always ahead?
Maybe like in the early stages when we were still adapting now to changing rules. But now we're more or less okay.
More or less okay. Thank you very much, Carol. Thank you very much, Tina. Wishing you all the best in Burundi now that, the debut tag is off your shoulders. Now it's going out there to adventure and just find out what happens in Burundi. Thank you very much, and wishing you all the best. And of course, wishing you all the best with your studies as well. And thank you to all the sponsors and partners who've come through to support them. It's at this point that we say, on behalf of everyone who's been behind this transmission, the transmission controller, the director, the producer, the cameraman, the camera ladies, and of course on behalf of Carol and Tina, we want to say thank you very much for having kept us company. As I always say, konana kesho ni majaliwa yake Mwenyezi Mungu. Bye bye for now, and keep it KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.